There's a janitor in your building who only works the night shift. Doesn't matter how much you beg him to come in at noon. Doesn't matter how messy the floor gets by 3 p.m. He has one schedule, and he does not negotiate it. Show up at the wrong hour demanding he start sweeping, and he'll just stand there, lights off, tools down, waiting for his actual shift to begin. That janitor lives inside every cell in your body, and almost nobody knows his hours. If you've ever fasted for hours and felt like nothing was happening, no fog lifting, no extra clarity, no payoff, comment janitor below, because what you're about to hear might explain exactly why. You've probably heard that fasting triggers autophagy, your body's cellular cleanup system, clearing out damaged proteins and worn-down cell parts. That part's true. What almost nobody tells you is that autophagy doesn't run on a flat, fast long enough and it switches on timer. It runs on a clock, a literal 24-hour biological clock. And if you fast at the wrong hour, you can do everything right and still get a fraction of the cleanup you think you're getting. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most fasting advice, the apps, the videos, the influencers, treats every fasting hour as equal. Hour 14 on a Tuesday morning, hour 14 on a Wednesday night, same value, same cleanup. That's the assumption baked into almost every fasting protocol you've ever followed. It's wrong. And the research showing why is recent enough that most creators in this space haven't caught up to it yet. Mechanism 1. The clock genes that run the cleanup crew. Inside nearly every cell you have, there's a set of genes with names like BMAL1 and PER2. Think of them as the building's master schedule, the document that tells every department exactly when to clock in and clock out. Research published in Frontiers in Cell and Developmental Biology in 2025 found that these core clock genes physically coordinate with autophagy genes in parallel 24-hour cycles. BMAL1 doesn't just run your sleep-wake rhythm. It directly controls the transcription of the genes responsible for building your cell's cleanup machinery. In plain English, BMAL1 is the building manager who decides not just when the lights go on, but when the cleaning supplies get unlocked at all. That means your autophagy machinery isn't sitting there fully stocked and ready 24 hours a day, waiting for a fast to flip the switch. It's primed at certain hours, gated at others. The same fasting window can hit completely different levels of readiness in your cells depending on what time of day it lands. Quick gut check. When do you usually eat your first meal of the day? Drop the time below. By the end of this video, you'll know if that's working with your biology or against it. Mechanism 2. The morning window nobody talks about. In 2019, researchers ran a randomized crossover study on 11 overweight adults, having them eat in 2 different windows on different days, early from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or standard from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., while tracking their blood sugar and gene expression around the clock. The early window group didn't just see better blood sugar control, though that happened too. Their glucose dropped and their blood sugar swings shrank significantly. Here's the part that matters most for us. In the morning, before they'd even eaten breakfast, their expression of LC3A, a core autophagy gene, was roughly 22% higher than the control groups. Their SIRT1 expression, a gene tied to longevity and cellular repair, rose by about 10%. Pause for a second. Let that sink in. Same number of fasting hours, same calories. The only thing that changed was when the eating window sat on the clock, and the cellular cleanup response moved by double digits. Here's where it gets brutal for late-night eaters specifically. If your last meal regularly lands at 9, 10, 11 p.m., you're not just eating late. You're forcing your janitor to start his shift hours after the building's master schedule already told him to clock out. He still shows up eventually, but he's working against his own programming the entire time. Be honest with yourself for a second. When did you eat last night? Mechanism 3. Why the evening tells a different story. It's not that night is bad and morning is good across the board. Biology rarely works in such tidy categories. In that same study, a different autophagy-related gene, ATG12, actually rose in the evening hours instead of the morning. Different members of the cleanup crew clock in at different shifts. Think of it less like one single janitor and more like a full custodial staff, each person assigned to a different department, each with their own start time. The morning crew handles one wing of the building, the evening crew handles another. If you only ever eat, or only ever fast, during one part of the day, you're consistently giving one shift all the work and leaving the other shift standing idle by the door. This is the actual argument for time-restricted eating that lines up your meals with a consistent daily window, rather than one for fasting longer and longer with no regard for clock time at all. If this is the first time you're hearing that autophagy has shifts instead of just an on-off switch, comment timing below. I want to know how many of you have been fasting at random hours this whole time. Mechanism 4. Different organs run completely different shift schedules. Here's something almost nobody mentions. The cleanup crew isn't even the same building department to department. Researchers studying mouse tissue found that in the liver, autophagy activity is highest in the afternoon, drops off sharply at night, and climbs back up through the daylight hours. Low cleanup periods consistently lined up with feeding that happened after the lights went down. But walk into a different department and the schedule flips entirely. That same body of research, going back to electron microscopy studies from the early 1970s, found that autophagy in heart tissue follows nearly the opposite pattern, peaking late at night and dropping during the early dark period. In plain English, your liver's janitor and your heart's janitor are not on the same clock. One's busiest in daylight, one's busiest after midnight. Skeletal muscle has its own rhythm too, distinct from both. This is why just fast for 16 hours is such an incomplete instruction. 16 hours can fully engage one organ's cleanup crew while barely touching another's, purely because of when those 16 hours actually fell on the clock. Mechanism 5. Why an irregular schedule might be quietly sabotaging you. Research has shown that autophagy doesn't just respond to your circadian rhythm, it actually helps regulate it, breaking down the very proteins that keep your internal clock running on time. It's a two-way relationship. Your clock genes tell autophagy when to work. Autophagy, in turn, helps keep your clock genes accurate, which means an erratic eating schedule doesn't just blunt your cleanup on any given day, it can gradually scramble the master schedule itself across every one of those organ-specific crews at once. Eat at 7 a.m. one day, 11 a.m. the next, skip breakfast the day after that, and you're not giving any of these systems a stable rhythm to synchronize around. The janitor shift keeps getting moved, and eventually, nobody on the crew in any department knows when they're actually supposed to show up. Pro tip 1. Consistency beats extremity. A predictable 10 to 12 hour eating window, same time every day, will likely do more for your cellular cleanup than a sporadic 18-hour fast you only manage twice a week. The research keeps pointing toward rhythm and regularity, not heroics. Pro tip 2. If you're choosing a window, lean earlier. Based on what the early time-restricted eating research shows, shifting your eating window earlier in the day, finishing dinner by mid-evening rather than right before bed, appears to align better with when your morning cleanup genes are primed to ramp up, and gives your liver's daylight-favoring rhythm room to actually run its course. Pro tip 3. Light matters as much as food timing. Your master clock genes don't just respond to meals, they respond heavily to light exposure too. Getting real daylight within the first hour of waking helps anchor that same BMAL1 schedule we talked about earlier, which means your cleanup crew's start time becomes more reliable, not just your eating window. Now, a quick honesty check, because this matters before anyone changes their routine around something they heard in a video. This isn't a call to obsessively track your eating window down to the minute. And it's especially not a call to fast for extended periods if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, managing diabetes on insulin or blood sugar medication, or have any history of disordered eating. Circadian alignment is something you can apply gently, shifting your last meal 30 minutes earlier, getting outside in the morning, without making it one more rule you have to follow perfectly. The point was never to fast harder, it was to fast smarter, in sync with a clock that was already running inside you the whole time. So picture that janitor one more time, not frustrated, not fighting your schedule, finally clocking in exactly when his shift was always meant to start. Because for once, you stopped asking him to work hours that were never his. You aren't failing at fasting because you lack discipline. Your body's cleanup crew was just waiting for the right hour to clock in. And now you know how to set the schedule. If this changed how you think about when you eat, not just how long you fast, that's exactly the kind of shift this channel exists for. Hit subscribe if you want more of the real mechanisms behind the habits you're already trying to build. Drop a like if this was worth your time, and tell me in the comments, are you going to try shifting your eating window earlier, or is your night owl schedule staying put? I read every one. I'll see you in the next one.